What's happening, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back for the match. Oh, it's not match reaction. Back for the press conference reaction to Daniel Farke's comments made today ahead of the playoff final, the big playoff final this Sunday. And I'm also going to touch on Russell Martin, some of Russell Martin's comments also. Before I get into it, you know the drill, people. Like the video, really is the best way to help out the channel. And if you want to become a member of the channel, thank you to all existing members. Membership link is in the description. Thank you to Carl Brown, who donated a super thanks on the last video. So I'm going to be speaking about that. Going to do the preview tomorrow. I'm not ready to do a full preview today. I'm going to do it tomorrow, man. I don't know, man. The build up to this game, it's so monumental. I'm doing the preview tomorrow. So it will either be, I'm going to just be honest, it's either going to be before the cup final or after. I don't know just yet. We'll see how I feel. See how I feel tomorrow. Yeah, an afternoon, morning to everybody, and evening wherever you are around the world. Before I get started, though, I do have to mention there was a Europa League final, and this man here, Gasparini, finally winning his first trophy after so many years of clawing his way around the Serie A league. And he got his rewards, man. And what a fine reward it was. You know, Lookman hat trick, Lookman as well, brilliant hat trick, one of the best hat tricks you'll see in a final. But a lot of it is down to this coach here. And this is who I was talking about. People that have been with me from the start will know I've mentioned this guy when we was talking about replacing Bielsa. This guy, he would have been perfect. Now, yeah, I mean, at the time, he was probably 62, because I think he's 66 now. So he'd have been 62, 63. So you don't know if he would have left Italy to come to England. But obviously, if you can, you know, sell a guy a project enough and pay him enough, you know how it goes. And if you can tell him that you can get players of your vision, then, you know, he might have come. You never know. But obviously, we went a completely different route, literally. And didn't go for this guy, but he is just sensational as a coach. Never gets the top jobs, always gets the scrappy jobs. But even this Atalanta job, I think people have taken it for granted just how well he's done. You know, Champions League, he's gotten to the Champions League twice now, and now they've won a Europa League against undefeated Bayer Leverkusen as well. And I just admire this coach so much because, I mean, there's some stills going around from the game. But if you watch the game, you would have seen Atalanta. I mean, if you talk about a high press, the central midfielders were nearly up by the strikers. Like, you know, it's that risk and reward football. And you just think if he had every single player that he wanted in those positions, he could probably win a league title. That's how good his football is. And just yeah, listen, just shout out to this coach, because this is what I always thought he could do with us. You know, we're getting our feet back in the Premier League by players that are to his mold, and you never know, man. Eventually, you can get to Europa League, and who knows, maybe a Conference League, and win it. That's what I envisioned when I talked about hiring this coach. But listen, we are at a different stage now. We are with Daniel Farke, and I will say this about Daniel Farke. Gordon here saying I'm fairly calm about the final. Tell you who else was calm, Daniel Farke today, and that's why that's in the title, because I don't know how I was expecting him to sound, but I think it's just the way I'm feeling it personally, that I'm thinking, oh, I wonder if there's any nerves there. But if there's any nerves, Daniel Farke, I think he will have nerves, you know, just in general, but he's not showing them. He wasn't showing them today. So full credit to him. I mean, he was asked a few fluff questions today about his face being around Trinity Center. We're not going to get into all that rubbish, but there was a few, you know, bits and pieces in regards to team news. And also, I will say on Southampton side as well. Reverend Knight here, Liverpool fan, as you guys will know. Big up KG, happy for Gasparini, even though he schooled Klopp. Yeah, he did, man. Oh, see, yeah, I forgot about that game. yeah, he touched you guys up, man. Yeah, listen to Reverend Knight, Somerville watch, man. These guys, man, these guys. Allison saying Miss Presser glad he was calm. Yeah, it was a fairly lengthy one, which is pretty obvious due to the circumstances of the game. But yeah, there was a bit of fluff in there, but we'll get into it. Where shall I start? Shall I get Southampton out of the way, or no? We'll go with us. First of all, I think it was pretty obvious anyway, if you need it confirming, but here it is. Patrick Bamford is not available. He's definitely going to miss out. Sam Byram is back in training and will be part of the squad. It's only going to be Bamford and, of course, Pascal Strout because of his long-term injury. But I don't think I didn't expect him to be back. You know, if the lights were bright in the semi-finals of the playoffs, where he's probably scared he's going to miss chances in those, there was no chance he was going to play at Wembley Stadium in a 200 million pound game with everything on the line. He's already fluffed up, Premier League survival. I don't think he was going to attempt to even be fit for this one. So listen, hopefully, and I say this for myself and for people that actually like football, hopefully this is the last we've seen of Patrick Bamford at Leeds United, and he can move on in the summer. And as we've heard reports that Leeds are going to do everything they can to move him on. I hope those are true. And this is the last time we see this guy. And again, I'm not here for Bamford fans. In fact, there's a beautiful function on YouTube, as creators like to say, called hide user from channel. I hide you guys. I don't want you here. If you think Bamford is the answer, we got nothing to talk about. So I think I've pretty much eliminated most of you. There's still a few that filter through, but listen, Bamford, third year in a row when there's clutch games on the line, not available. And whether you think he's injured or not, I think it's more psychological than it is physical at this point. Yeah, he's not going to be here. So Matt saying same starting 11, I guess. Well, Daniel Farke did say he's not going to give away the starting 11. Interestingly enough, he did say in regards to Southampton, there will be minor changes because of the way Southampton do play, which was always on the. I did say that after the semi-final. It's just a different game to Norwich. It's completely different. The talent level that Southampton have in comparison to Norwich is greater. And speaking of that, we talk about Bamford being unfit. Ross Stewart and Che Adams are back for Southampton. So, there you go. So they've got a bit more of their arsenal back in for this game. Jack here saying, I'm so nervous for this. We've been overwhelmed in midfield against these lot twice. We can't let it happen again. Yeah, I've got quotes from Russell Martin there, but I don't think it says this in the quotes. But I was watching him on a conference. I think it was on Sky Sports News. But he was saying in regards to the things that they did right against Leeds, you got to make sure that they keep doing those well, and the little things that they didn't do right against Leeds, tidy them up. So I'm not saying that Russell Martin is going to play the exact same way. I think it's going to be a tentative game, but we'll speak about that in the preview tomorrow. But you can imagine he's had success twice, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we do need to make adjustments for that, or we use the most of our talent that we do have in this team, which is a lot, which people forget because Southampton have beaten us twice. And if they maximize their talent, maybe we make Southampton change their plan. You know what I mean? And Daniel Farke was talking about that today. And it's something that I say about life. It's about the 1%. It's about 1%. It's about being better than your opposition. It's how you be successful. It's your 1%. And Daniel Farke was talking about those little details today. Hank reporter talking about pens. Yeah, I mean, Danny Farke pretty much said, didn't he? I mean, it was literally. Let me get the quotes up. Let's go. So Bamford out. Let me just cross these off. Got loads of tabs open. Right, here we go. So yeah, here we are. Right. Daniel Farke speaking ahead. I'm just going to read a few of them. We're pretty focused and concentrated. We know it's a decisive game, but it's important to stay calm and stay balanced. We're highly motivated, exactly like our opponent. It's a 50-50 game. And that was something else. Russell Martin actually said on the one that I watched, he was talking about the difference. And I think I mentioned it on here as well, about the difference between Oxford and Bolton, where Bolton are red hot favourites for this game. Bolton have beaten them twice in the league. But it was about how the Oxford handled the occasion. Bolton looks so nervous. They could hardly pass the ball in that game. And I watched the full game of that. They kept on keeping it at the back. There was no movement. It looked like people were hiding from the ball. And that was Bolton. That's a big club, to stay in League One for yet another year. So it is about playing the game, not the occasion. It's cliche as hell, but it is true. You can get caught up in the occasion. And I think that we did that against Norwich. I think we absolutely played the game and not the occasion, because We battered Norwich like it was a regular league game. It did not seem like it was a playoff second leg with everything on the line. We played our natural game and killed them, absolutely buried them. So it's going to be so interesting to see what happens in this game. I mean, I can't wait, but the days they seem to be ticking on quick, but not quick enough, if you know what I mean. Um, yeah, awesome. Dan James taking a pen doesn't fill me with confidence. Who knows if he'll be on at that point? Who knows? Um, Hanky is saying, I thought it was a great point by Daniel Farke that our team does rise to the occasion, favors us. I mean, listen, yeah, focus rises, our focus rises. I mean, yeah, I mean, you could say that, but then you could also say towards the end of the season, it absolutely fell off a cliff, didn't it? And Danny Farke has even said that himself. You know, it's not nothing I'm saying that's new. Danny Farke says it himself about even the defense wasn't good, the results weren't going as well as they should have. You know, he said all this himself, but we shall see because Southampton also did rise as well against West Brom. They did. But we just, you know, pulverized Norwich in that game. More from Farke here. You know, I've already told you about Bamford and Byram. Farke on whether we'll stick with the lineup which hammered Norwich. I won't speak about the starting lineup, but during the playoffs, we found our rhythm. In the second game, we returned towards our best, and I agree with that. On Southampton, they're one of the best sides in the Championship. They've got experienced players and a classy coach. The club is not nervous. It's difficult to beat them. This was proven in the first two games. And then you just talked about rituals, and that they said that they might take an early visit to Wembley on Sunday, but yet to decide it'll be normal preparation, nothing too special. I mean, it's different, no man. You always see, you know what, we see it as fans, even watching on the TV. When you see those players walking around Wembley pitch, they all look like, whoa, you know, this is different, isn't it? But I will also say, in regards to Southampton, I mean, you would have thought they've been promoted already by the way that some people are talking. But their owner, let me just get this quote here. One of their investors, Dragon Solak, hope I've said that right, says they will be throwing the party of their lives if they win the playoffs. So, you know, we haven't really heard anything from the 49ers. That's not really Parag's style. But you can imagine that maybe Leeds will have a little, you know, bottle of, you know, super malt ready for them if they win. You would hope so, wouldn't you? But yeah, you know, Southampton, you know, the whole pitch invasion thing and everything else, you know, they've really made it into like this big thing as if they're already up. But this is a big game. It's 50-50. You know, no Steiner math in this one. There's no 33 and a third % chance of winning. It's 50-50, man, and it's who wants it more on the day. I've already said it's not about the most talented. If it was the most talented team, if you're going player for player, it's us. But it's about more than that. It's about your mentality. It's about your approach, and it's about cutting out mistakes as well. Matt C is saying here, got to be the same starting 11 on Sunday after the last performance. Just hope we can get hold of centre midfield this time against him. Yeah, I think even if it was the same, maybe he just packs the midfield out a little bit more. Maybe he asks Archie to just go inside a little bit more, just to cover Smallbone, if anything, just to stop the runs, because it was ridiculous. And hopefully, I mean, Gruev is more fit now, but hopefully Gruev is a bit more mobile. Because that when he just let Smallbone just drift past him, that's unacceptable, isn't it? And the thing is, if Gruev sticks with him, maybe that doesn't even become a goal. It was just so easy, wasn't it? So everybody just has to be switched on and focused. Everybody, from the goalkeepers to the forward. And yeah, so that's Daniel Farke. This was Russell Martin. A few Russell Martin quotes just to get into, you know, the mindset that he's in right now. I did like this one. I try not to talk about my career too much because it was really average. I mean, that's very, very honest. I thought he was decent. I thought he was a decent defender, but you know, it's a real privilege to now lead a club like this out at Wembley. But anyone who says they won't be nervous on the morning is not being honest. There is courage required, and I agree with that. Not that one. Oh yes, of course. And I'm surprised actually. Maybe it was asked in the you know, in the questions that aren't broadcasted, but I'm surprised they didn't ask Daniel Farke about VAR today. But Russell Martin was asked about it. He said, we spoke about it. I don't know how I feel about it really. You'll have to ask me afterwards. I was going crazy when Coventry scored against Manchester United because we all have an underdog, and to have that taken away was difficult for him. And he continues. It makes sense when there is so much at stake, but it needs to work more quickly. Hopefully, there will be no issues with it on Sunday. And again, we're talking about all these things, your tactical plans and everything else like that. It could be a VAR decision that just absolutely kills you. And we've seen it happen in the Premier League. I know that they give the stats out that there's more decisions correct these days, but a lot of those they count in offsides, and that's easy to do. But when you're talking about fouls and they get slowed down, so every single foul looks like it's brutal, then there are issues there. So players on the pitch for both Leeds and Southampton are going to have to be way more savvy than they have had to be in the Championship. Graham here. Don't worry, people. We won't need pens. We will get this done in normal time. I hope so, man. Listen, a few of you have left score predictions before. Again, we're not going to do that today. That's tomorrow. But I love some of your score predictions, man. Honestly, just the way you guys put 2-0. I saw even 3-1. Like, I don't know at this point. That's why I need another day, people. That's why I need another day. But yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow. And was there something else as well? Yeah. Just to put this to bed, in regards to Russell Martin and Daniel Farke's relationship. He came into our office after the home game and we had a drink. It's football. There has never been anything personal. I didn't like his decision at the time, but he had other ideas and he was honest with me. You have to respect it. So there you go, people. There isn't no, deep lying hatred between the two. It's just one of those things. And I think Russell Martin, now being a manager, understands Daniel Farke's position, where you've got players and maybe you don't fancy them too much and you have to let them go or say that you're not wanted. He's probably realizing now, Daniel, I understand now. I get it. So there's no animosity there, but Daniel Farke needs one now. He needs one in this because he hasn't beaten Russell Martin yet, hasn't beaten Southampton. So there's a lot of ducks that need to be broken in this one, people. Hanky is saying, I think so much comes down to Somerville and Nanto knuckling down on defense, which I think they're capable of. I don't know why you've singled those two out. They get back, especially Somerville. You know what I mean? Somerville is always getting back. The amount of times I see him make clearances, put stuff out for corners. He does that a lot. So both of them get up and down. Maybe Nanto not so much, but him and Archie Gray on the right have got a really good connection. So hopefully we see a lot of that. But yeah, they do their part defensively. Mad Mick here saying, I have mixed feelings about Sunday. How can we all not? You got to speak for yourself, Mick. As with everything, people, I always say that. Don't speak for everyone. It's for yourself. I know that it's too late now, but I wish Cresswell had been given a chance because I like the squad better if Ampadu's in the midfield. I hear that, but look, we're here now. This is it now. This is the playoff final. There's no Charlie Cresswell will not be playing in this game. It would be shocking if they did. I think Paqueta would probably put a bet on if he knew Cresswell was going to play. Oh, that's harsh. Sorry, Paqueta. Sorry about that. But yeah, listen, it is what it is now. This is the team that we're going to have. And we got to rely on these guys to get us up. And then from there, hopefully, no, there's no hopefully, we will see improvements in this team. We will have to. We can't go up with this team. You look at now, we're speaking about Ipswich and Leicester, people, in regards to them being up and being ready to buy players. Their managers are being courted by other clubs right now. Crazy stuff. And it's one of those interesting things as well. I will say, I think even if Ipswich hadn't gone up, I still think that the Premier League clubs would have still looked at Kieran McKenna. I still believe they would have done that. So it's going to be interesting for both of those teams. But yeah, I'm just ready now. Daniel Farke's confidence today, his manner, his demeanor, it put me at ease a little bit today. But obviously, we know that he doesn't play the game, as he mentioned today numerous times. It's on the players. It's not about him. It's on the players that will, that need the support and will be out on the pitch doing the job. Yeah, Mick, fair play. Well, KG, I guess I should not speak for all. Yeah, you can't speak for all. I can't speak for all. Nobody can. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it just means if you feel like I'm not saying this about you, Mick. I see your comments enough. I know you're not like that. But when you say that everybody thinks this, yeah, it's a bit egotistical, isn't it? No, not everybody thinks it. You think it. One of those. Um, Russ in the house. I'm still feeling confident we'll win. Come on, Leeds. Jack here, just following on from that. Jack, Leicester and Ipswich look nailed on for relegation. Now will be a great time to go up. Listen, this is the thing, Jack. When we go up, I don't want to think about these things. I don't want to think about, who's weaker than us this season? I want us to do the proper recruitment. I want us to recruit in the right areas, which it sounds like we're on the cusp of doing if we go up, especially with news like letting go of Bamford, whether we go up or not. I want us to get recruitment right this time. Don't splash a whole bunch of money on a whole bunch of nothing, because that's what we did last time, and we're still paying for those players. That's the worst thing. Hopefully, we can start recouping some of that money back, recouping, I should say, that money back in the summer. But I do see a few of those loanees going back out on loan yet again. I think it's going to be one of those where we probably won't agree a permanent fee for a couple of them, so they'll have to go out back out on loan. And whether it's just a straight loan or loan with a permanent move, with view to permanent move next summer, I don't know. But I don't think we're going to sell every single player. I think we're going to have to loan a few back out. So we need to get the recruitment right. And you don't get every player right. No, nobody does. Hardly anybody does. It's very difficult to have 100% success rate when it comes to transfers. Even Pep gets one wrong once in a while. But you have to make better decisions. And for me, one of the things, and talk about recruitment, is just the mental. I would love the club to go into the players' mental. And I'm not talking about if they're depressed. I'm talking about their mental ability to handle this football club, because we've signed players that just can't handle it. I think Tyler Adams handled it. It's just that he tore his hamstring, and I think he's still having problems with it now. I don't think he's played properly for a while, but a majority of them are just so soft who we signed before. It was like Victor Orta went on a "I really like your personality" vibe, instead of, if it gets down, if we have to get down in the trenches, can you cope with this one city football club? And a lot of them couldn't cope, and a lot of them just weren't good as well. So hopefully the 49ers will do better this time around. But guys, we got to get up first. Got to get up first. Um, Matt. Our treatment room won't be the same when Bamford and Cooper move on. Sad day for the physio team. And listen, Matt, that's another thing that I think we need to look at in the summer. Maybe they won't do it, but I think that they should look at the medical team. I do. I think that they should. I mean, you just go to Pascal Struck first of all, and I'm only talking this season. Never mind all the stuff before. The Pascal Struck thing, bringing him back after a hamstring strain so soon after the international break was a mistake. And listen, whether Bamford is injured or not, that's not the point. But if he is, say he is injured, and they thought a bruise was the diagnosis when it was a strain, something in his ligament, that's terrible. You know what I mean? That's awful. So I think there's a few things that they could improve at this football club, but they have to be ruthless to do it. And I will speak about that in the summer. I really will speak about that in the summer. Um, Let's have a look. Tintin here talk about Jorginho looking like he was at the start of the new year. Seems at ease with himself. I think Tintin. I think he's at ease. I think he's just, as Daniel Farke said today, he spoke a little bit about Jorginho and just his struggles when he first came, probably in regards to not being played and coming on when we like 4 and 5-1 down, expecting to do something. Uh, oh my, crazy times, man. We're so mismanaged people. But he was just talking about just his comfortability playing now. And he has had a tough time with the injury. I did think that he had a tough time with the hernia injury anyway. So yeah, he looks like he's back to himself. We talk about Somerville, Nanto. We need Jorginho at his flying best as well, taking out players that leave Somerville and Nanto free. And hopefully we'll see that, people. Hopefully we'll see that. Arson here saying we'll raise our game on Sunday like we did against Ipswich and Leicester twice. I hope so. I hope so. But I'm not. Yeah, listen. I know. I hear that, but I'm thinking about it as well from the Southampton side. And you know what Southampton will probably be thinking? Listen, we put this team away twice. I'm sure we can do it again. Obviously the league games don't count in this one, and pretty much both managers have said the same. But there's always that mental aspect of the players thinking, we've beaten these lot twice. Why not? Why can't we do it again? But records are there to be broken, people. I think that was it from Russell Martin. I don't think there was anything else. Oh yeah, just about the nerves. Russell Martin asked if he expects his Saints team to be nervous. Yes, everyone will be. If you're not nervous for that sort of occasion, you are probably a dangerous person, which is pretty funny. And then he also spoke on penalties too. He had a little bit more to say than Daniel Farke did, who just says we are prepared for everything, and that was it. That's all he said. People. Russell Martin said though we have spoken about giving the players some stats about it, prepared for it as best as we can, and hope it doesn't go down that far. Every footballer in the world can take a penalty. What it comes down to is purely psychological. And yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know how he was preparing for Eli Melier, who he has not saved a penalty yet, so there's not really much to go with Elan. But maybe it's more to do with the players that will take penalties. It's mainly going to be Somerville, Peru, if he's still on the pitch. Yeah, we'll leave Dan James out of it. I'm sure Nanto can take one. I even think probably Ethan can take one as well. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, listen, I just hope it doesn't go down this far. I'll be a nervous wreck, and it will be on screen as well. We'll be watching that one. But yeah, I'll be a nervous wreck. Gary here saying Ten Hag has been sacked. Yeah, I've seen that. I think he's going to get sacked after the cup final, which is no surprise. There's a lot of coaches out there, Pete. I don't know if you guys realize there's a lot of good coaches out of work right now, and if you're going to get a new manager, now's the perfect time to do it. There's a lot of talent out there, especially if you're in the Premier League. There's a lot of good names out there. You know, shout out to Vincent Company, who's got the Bayern Munich job. How he's done that after getting relegated with Burnley, I don't know. I know they say the word of Pep goes far, but I'm just thinking about myself as an owner. If I've seen a coach relegate a team and he didn't even give it the best shot because he tried to stick to principles that did not work in that league with the team with the personnel he has, I'm thinking, well, why should I give him a shot at like football heritage? You know, Bayern Munich's a massive worldwide institution of football, and he's getting that opportunity. Listen, I stay consistent. I didn't think Frank Lampard deserved to fail up. I don't think Vincent Company should either. Now you're seeing Wayne Rooney now. You know, I think he's going to Plymouth. It's a rude awakening for some of these great, former great players that think that they were just going to go to great clubs and just replicate it. It doesn't work like that. Hardly ever works like that. You know, there's outliers, of course, Ancelotti, Zidane, but it rarely works. A lot of the best managers are ones that hardly, didn't have a good football career. Yeah, I've seen the reports anyway. I think it's someone called Jacob Steinfield. I think he broke it that they're going to sack him after the FA Cup final. Paul here saying in regards to the FA Cup final, Man City 5, Man United 0, leads to Southampton 1, perfect weekend. I'd rather him not score, Paul. I'll be honest with you. I'd rather him not. But listen, I would take a 2-1 win all day long, but we're not doing score predictions today. But yeah, that is it. Just in regards to the managers, both just seem very assured. I will say that. I think Russell Martin probably displayed a little bit more um emotion. I think, in regards to that, it means everything to me, kind of, malarkey. I think he went down that road a little bit more than Daniel Farke did, which was just pure focus and we have to get things right. It will be, amazing to get this club up on the first time of asking. Russell Martin is a little bit more, I need this, in order to be a manager in the Prem kind of thing. So just very, very interesting, man. But of course, it's not about the managers, it's about the players, isn't it? And we'll talk about those guys tomorrow in the preview. Ed Tube, have you seen the Paqueta news, KG? Yeah, I did. I made a little slide joke about it earlier. But yeah, listen, the thing is, when you get the footage, when you've seen the footage of the yellow cards as well, it does look sus. It does. It's like, why are you doing that? And look, I'll be real with you. I've spoken to players that have deliberately got yellow cards before, especially if they're going to be suspended around Christmas. It happens in the game. But when you're talking about gambling or betting, that's a little bit different, isn't it? You talk about match fixing. Right? We've even seen Jose Mourinho, when he was manager of Real Madrid, he told, I can't remember the two players, people, maybe it was Xabi Alonso and somebody else, but he told them to get yellow Ramos. It was Sergio Ramos. He told them to get yellow cards so they missed the next game instead of the knockout. It happens in the game, but you're talking about that's more strategic. That's more, strategic ways. if you're spot fixing and money's involved, you're bringing the game into disrepute, aren't you? Really? So yeah, it is mad. We'll see. He's denied the claims, so I guess we'll see how it plays out. But I can see with him saying that he hasn't done it. If they find him guilty, I think he'll have an even bigger ban than Tony did, and Tonali is currently serving at Newcastle. So it could be bad for Paqueta, and that's a shame for him, because I could see Man City moving on. Mateus Nunes, I don't think he's been very good for him. I think, and Pep hasn't really used him that much. I could have seen them moving him out and bringing Paqueta in at Man City, but obviously this just, that muddies the waters completely. Conrad is saying here, Man United fan Conrad, hope you win. Not going to like Edge. You missed the Leeds United game. Well, of course you would, man. You got loads of goals in those. Paul Pogba got 4 assists in that game. But yeah, no, I miss it too, man. That's what football's all about for me. The big games like that, Premier League. That's where we should be, man. But we've got to do the job and get it done. Arson, is there VAR? Yeah, I've already mentioned that. Yes, there is VAR in this player final. Yeah, Russ, I hear you, man. This week feels like it's got 14 days in it. I've never known a week that's felt this long. Honestly, Russ, I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you, man. It feels like we should have played this game already. It's crazy. And the thing was, the time between the first and second leg of the Norwich game, it went like that. It flew by. This week, I feels like I'm counting down the hours. It's like I'm back at my office job and just looking at the time. Where you think it's like 12 when you got in at 9, and you look up and it's only 10 past 9. You're like, damn it. One of the, I'm sure everybody knows what that feels like. It's not a nice feeling. Not a nice feeling. But people, that is it there. That is it from the manager's point of view. I will be back tomorrow for the preview. And then, of course, we'll be here on Sunday. Oh, please let it be good. But listen, we'll preview the game tomorrow, talk about the players, talk about what you want to see from certain players. We'll do all that tomorrow. If you haven't already, please hit a like on the video. And people, I will see you tomorrow. It will either be before the FA Cup or afterwards. I will let you know tomorrow. Just keep an eye out and hit the notification bell as well so you know when I'm going live. Peace out, people.